What's good, everyone? Is it safe to assume that the reason you're here, if you're here at all, is because of the thumbnail and title? Is it also safe to assume that you fell for the clickbait? I mean, what clickbait? Me clickbait? Never. But seriously, we've got a lot to discuss. That's right, it's another Kingdom Hearts key video! What's that? You said where's a video about Yozora? What about him? With the Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer still fresh in everyone's minds, many people have gears turning as to what exactly could the next couple chapters in the story hold for Sora. However, not only Sora, but also the Foretellers as well. In a recent interview with Famitsu, Tetsuya Nomura shed some light on the subject by essentially confirming that the Foretellers would be the new organized antagonists that Sora goes against, much like the Organization 13, which to most of us is nothing new and sorta has been heavily implied throughout recent events of the series. Seriously, out of everything Nomura has secretly hinted at, this has to be the most blatant and obvious, albeit still cryptic. That being said, if you know anything about me, which I don't expect you to, nobody cares. Anyways, you'll know that I'm a very proud and heavy advocate that the Foretellers can and possibly will be redeemed, and the evidence that I provide today may just draw a few more over to my side of the fence, where we can all enjoy delicious cookies and sea salt ice cream together. Everyone else could just eat rice cakes or something, I don't know. Now when it comes to the Foretellers, the only real source of info that we have to go on is the Kingdom Hearts Key back cover movie. Of course, there are bits and pieces scattered throughout Union Cross as well, specifically regarding Luchu and Ava. However, these are not the only pieces of story elements that we have to go on. There is one more that we've actually received just recently. Well, what is it? Could it be the new Kingdom Hearts 4 trailer? Perhaps Missing Link? Maybe even Dark Road? All very valid, and I'm sure there's something in all of these options. But what I'm talking about today is the Kingdom Hearts Anniversary artwork that Nomura has blessed us with. Throughout the art, you see various references to specific events and characters in the series. Riku replica hidden behind Naminé symbolizing his sacrifice to bring her back.
Hey! What are you doing? Take the vessel!
No. The world already has you. There's someone else who needs the replica more. You know who I mean.
Oh, Naminé, you're saving her.
Marluxia and Larxene symbolizing their connection together as Lauriam and Alrena.
I was really just along for the ride.
With...
My secret.
Strelitzia being asleep, symbolizing her fate in Union Cross. And other minor ones, such as Ventus being on the same side respective to the Union leaders, Kairi and Aqua as master and student, and honestly, you could look at this forever. But what we want to focus on today is at the top of the page with the master as well as the Foretellers. Notice something particular about this image. That's right, they are all facing a particular cardinal direction, whether it be directly forward, straight to the side, or turned away. Okay, so what this could be is a stylistic choice, right? Well, not exactly. I'd like you to take notes specifically at which Foreteller is facing which direction. Those who are facing forward are those who are blindly following the Master's orders without a single shred of doubt, those being Ira as well as Envy. Cross-reference this to the events that happened throughout Kingdom Hearts Key back cover and you'll see exactly what I mean. Ira was so set in stone with sticking to the book and what it foretells, even leading him to creating distrust amongst the Foretellers. With him, it's not so much that he didn't have questions, but rather whatever the answer the Master gave him, he would accept as the truth, no hesitation.
I need to see that lost page.
What? Did you expect the traitor to give themselves up with that accusation of yours? That was foolish.
I said, that's quite enough.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Envy, darling, I'm so glad you spoke up because you are exactly who I was going to next. Envy is the most obvious example of blindly following the Master's orders. Her role simply being to observe and make sure that everyone gets along. However, she ends up taking that as, well, for lack of a better word, be a snitch, a tattletale, a literal snake in the grass. Get it? Get it? Creating distrust amongst them and refusing to admit her faults. That maybe that she was in the wrong, because doing that would be admitting that the master was wrong too, and she would never want to do that.
What's the meaning of this?
Hear me out, Envy. I want an alliance among our unions. Gula here has already agreed. Will you join us? And together we can—
And disobey the Master's teachings?
We don't have a choice!
The Master bestowed each of us with a different role, and he specifically told us to keep our union separate, to maintain the balance of power. He told us that any imbalance would lead to a desire for more power, which leads to darkness. I know you haven't forgotten. Perhaps it's you who has been tainted by darkness.
Why did you tell Ira? It had to be you, because you were the only one who knew where we were hiding. Didn't you think for a second that your actions could be making things worse than they already are?
And why should that even bother you? Not only do you have your union, but you've also gathered the finest Keyblade wielders from other unions, and you're training them in a secret location, aren't you?
Yes, because that is my role!
You stupid!
Between the both of them, there's sure not a single shred of doubt that the master knows best. Leading us to the next two, Gula and Aced, both facing straight to either direction. These represent those who have shown adhesiveness and reluctance to the master's plans. Although he sought out answers from the master, he was willing to go against the master's orders in order to bring him back, going so far as to attempting to summon Kingdom Hearts, which has strictly been forbidden. However, he didn't care, as he would not simply accept the outcome of the Book of Prophecies without answers.
I'm a fool for basing my actions on what is written on that lost page. Everything in the passage is ambiguous at best. That's why I need to find out.
But how?
By asking the Master.
But he's not here anymore.
I'm going to summon Kingdom Hearts.
What?
Then he'll have no choice but to come back.
Summoning Kingdom Hearts is forbidden!
That's exactly why! The only way to get him back is to break the rules. If things don't change, the entire world is doomed.
And this leads us to everyone's favorite, Aced. Everyone thought he was just a hot-headed mess not thinking things through. But in fact, he was one of the few who actually did the most thinking, which is a big no-no from the master. Aced immediately knew something was wrong and that they needed to band together and combine strengths to combat it.
I want the three of us to form an alliance.
But alliances are forbidden, Aced.
Gula here has already agreed. Will you join us? And together we can—
And disobey the Master's teachings?
We don't have a choice!
However, this will lead to those who don't think for themselves to paint him as a traitor and turn against him.
We need to defy the Master's teachings to protect the world!
You're saying he was wrong?
He's not here anymore. I won't let his prophecy come true. I won't let the world fall into darkness!
I found out who the traitor is. Regrettably.
May my heart be my guiding key.
And finally, that brings us to the final two, Luchu and Ava. However, if you notice, they aren't both facing the same direction, which again I think hints towards this not being a stylistic choice, because why not have them facing the same way? Why change it up now? Ava is completely turned away, while Luchu still remains facing to the side. Luchu, much like Aced and Gula, has shown numerous times that he's had doubts about the master's plans. When the master revealed the union leaders may be in danger, and Luchu showed concern when the master told him it wasn't important, constantly bringing it up and begging him to answer him as to whether they will be okay, eventually leading to the master caving in and saying, fine, watch over them, I don't care, whatever. When the master revealed his true plans and Luchu voiced how outrageous it was, how too many were just being sacrificed. However, Luchu is a wild card, because even though he has all these doubts, he still follows the master, though the reason he follows isn't blind loyalty, he just hasn't been given a reason not to. As he says to the darkness, I know one thing is for certain, and that is the master hates darkness, and that's good enough for me. Last but not least, Ava. At the beginning of the chain of events, Ava was inclined to follow the master's teachings. However, throughout the entire story, it's been obvious that she has shown hints of doubts as to what is actually right.
Do you remember what you asked me before? About why the unions compete against each other instead of working together. Actually, I always wondered the same thing.
Huh? Isn't it just because the master said so?
Yes. And as such, we must obey. The master said so, so it is. Lately, I've really started to wonder.
The more the story unfolded, the more Ava saw with her own eyes. The distrust amongst her friends, the infighting, the chaos ensuing. How could the Master be right if it's causing this much pain? Remember, Ava was everywhere. She saw the pain that was being caused with everyone, from Union Leader to Union Leader, from Foreteller to Foreteller.
Please stop!
What did Ira want?
I don't know exactly. He just asked me to give up Gula. His eyes, they were scary. I was worried he'd do something awful.
I know Gula's here.
What?
Tell me where he is.
But why? What are you going to do?
None of your concern.
Don't.
What?
I won't let you near him.
May your heart be your guiding key.
Leading to her not only having doubts about the Master's teachings, but strictly going against a direct order from the Master's lips himself, giving the Book of Prophecies that she was supposed to give to Strelitzia to Brain instead. And as we all know, she was not present when called upon. She refuses to do his bidding anymore. She just wants everyone to be happy. No more pain, and no more suffering. All of the Foretellers are now 100% solidified in the Master's teachings. In this upcoming saga, as well as Sora's chances of victory against the Master of Masters, will depend heavily on if Sora will be able to convince them to join his side, which would by default mean going directly against the Master. Some it'll be near impossible, some it may take time, and others may have already begun their rebellion. From what we have seen, the Master may be strong, but his real strength is in numbers and manipulation. And as anyone who's played RPGs knows, if there's a boss whose stats are infinitely higher than yours, you need to find a way to strip them of their power, bringing them down to your level and giving you a fighting chance. However, that's gonna wrap up this theory video. In the last one, I asked you guys if you could guess the different references on my avatar, and a huge number of you killed it. Some of you even going so far as to name specific characters from things. You damn overachievers. I bet you were the type to remind the teacher we had homework due. You disgust me. But of course, I'm sure I don't have to remind you there's a like button. I'm sure you already pressed it anyways. And oh yeah, I guess I made other videos or whatever. That's it for me. It's been Vel, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.